Captain June Lee stood straight as the large door slid open. The meeting room of the Galactic Concordat was huge, with high ceilings and walls that shimmered like water. Around a U-shaped table sat the leaders of the galaxy's most powerful races. They all turned to look at the humans who entered. "Ah, the Earthlings arrive at last," said Admiral Talek. His bug-like body towered over 7 feet tall. His hard shell gleamed under the lights. "Please, join us." June nodded to his team, Engineer Da Kim, Science Officer Sue Park, and Tactical Officer Jin Park. They walked forward together while Ambassador He-Yun led the way. The aliens watched them with eyes that ranged from tiny to dinner plate-sized. "We are honored to be here," Ambassador He said with a small bow. She wore the formal blue uniform of Earth's Space Command. "We bring greetings from Earth." Admiral Talek waved a clawed hand. Yes, we have much to discuss and little time. The Vraxian threat grows daily." The Vraxians. Just the name made June's stomach tighten. For 30 years, the Vraxian Imperium had been taking over the galaxy piece by piece. They crushed anyone who stood against them. Now they were heading toward Earth's part of space. "We understand the danger," Ambassador has said. "That is why we have come to join the Concordat's defense fleet." Admiral Talek clicked his mandibles together. "Show us what Earth offers." Day stepped forward and placed a small disk on the table. He pressed it, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a ship, the Defiance *. It was small compared to the massive war vessels the aliens used. Its hull was smooth and silver, with few visible weapons. Silence filled the room for 3 seconds. Then laughter erupted. At least it sounded like laughter. Some aliens hissed, others clicked, and some made noises like rocks falling. "This is Earth's contribution," asked a blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. "This tiny vessel. Is this some kind of joke?" rumbled another alien whose body looked like a pile of rocks with eyes. June felt his face grow hot, but he kept his expression calm. He had expected this reaction. Earth was new to space travel. Humans had only created faster-than-light ships 20 years ago. The other races had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. "The Defiance * may be small," Jun said, speaking for the first time. "But size is not everything." This caused more laughter. Admiral Talek raised a claw for quiet. "Captain Lee," the Admiral said, using June's title correctly at least, "we appreciate Earth's effort, but the Vraxian fleet has ships that could swallow yours whole. Their smallest destroyer is 5 times the size of your vessel." Sue Park stepped forward. She was small even for a human, barely 5 feet tall. Her black hair was cut short, and her eyes showed both intelligence and determination. "Admiral, if I may," she said quietly. All eyes turned to her. The Defiance * represents a new approach to space combat. "We do not rely on size or conventional weapons." "Oh," said a thin alien with skin that changed colors as it spoke. "And what do you rely on, little human?" Sue looked at June, who gave a small nod. "Some information could be shared, but not all. We have developed a system that uses quantum field manipulation," Sue explained. "It allows our ship to absorb energy and redirect it." "Quantum fields," scoffed one alien. "Every race experiments with quantum technology. Nothing useful has ever come of it." "We have found a way," Day said firmly. The engineer's hands were clenched at his sides. "Our system works. On paper, perhaps," Admiral Talek said. "But in real combat, against Vraxian war vessels, I think not." Jin Park, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "We have tested it against our own weapons. The results were impressive." "Earth weapons," said the rock-like alien dismissively. "Toys compared to what the Vraxians will bring." Ambassador Hare raised a hand for calm. "We understand your skepticism. All we ask is a chance to prove ourselves." Admiral Talek studied the humans for a long moment. Then he pointed at the hologram of the Defiance *. Your ship may join our outer patrol fleet, he said, but stay out of the way if real fighting begins. We cannot spare ships to rescue you. Thank you, Admiral. Ambassador has said before any of the others could speak. We accept your offer. As the meeting ended, the aliens filed out, many still chuckling at the small human ship. June waited until they were gone before speaking to his team. Well, that went as expected, he said. They laughed at us, Dad growled. The engineer's face was red with anger. They think we're children. Let them think it, Sue said calmly. Better to be underestimated than feared. Ambassador Han nodded in agreement. This has always been Earth's strategy. We appear less threatening than we are. I still don't like it, Jin said. The tactical officer was the youngest of the group, only 30 years old. They treated us like we were nothing. Soon they will see what we can do, Jun said. The Defiance will prove itself when the time comes. 3 days later, the Defiance was docked at the massive Concordat space station. The station was a city in space, home to thousands of aliens from dozens of races. The humans had been given a small section near the outer docking rings, far from the important areas. Jun sat in his quarters, reviewing the patrol schedule they had been assigned. As expected, they were given the least important sector to watch. He sighed and rubbed his eyes. A chime sounded. Captain, came Sue's voice through the comm system. Could you come to the lab? I've made some adjustments to the Key-D system. On my way, Jun replied. The Key-D system, quantum displacement field, was Sue's creation. The quiet scientist had spent 10 years developing it, working in secret labs on Earth. If it worked as intended, it would change space warfare forever. Jun walked through the corridors of his ship. The Defiance might look small from the outside, but inside it was a marvel of efficient design. Every space had multiple purposes. Walls could move to create new rooms as needed. The entire ship could be reconfigured in minutes. He found Sue in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing complex equations and field diagrams. What have you got? He asked. Sue smiled, a rare sight that transformed her serious face. I've increased efficiency by 12%, she said. The field should now absorb energy at nearly 80% capacity. That's excellent news, Jun said, studying the diagrams. Will it affect the recharge time? No. We still need at least 6 hours between full discharges. Jun nodded. That was the one weakness of their system, the long recharge time. But if they could surprise the enemy with one powerful attack, it might be enough. Any word from the patrol fleets? Sue asked. Nothing unusual. The Concordat thinks the Vraxians are still weeks away from this sector. Just as he finished speaking, alarms began to blare throughout the ship. A voice came over the comm system. It was Da. Captain to the bridge. Emergency. Jun and Sue ran through the corridors. When they reached the bridge, they found Da and Jin already at their stations. What's happening? Jun demanded as he took his captain's chair. Vraxian ships, Jin said, pointing to the main screen. A scout fleet just appeared at the edge of the system. They somehow bypassed the outer sensors. How many? 20 vessels, mostly destroyers with a few heavy cruisers. Jun's heart raced, but his voice remained calm. Alert the Concordat. Prepare the ship for combat. As they watched, the Vraxian ships moved with perfect coordination, heading straight for the station. They were sleek, predatory vessels with hulls that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The comm system crackled, and Admiral Talik's voice filled the bridge. All vessels prepare for combat. Human delegation, please remain in your quarters for safety. Jun exchanged glances with his crew. This was it, their chance to prove what the Defiance could do. Ambassador, he called through the ship's comm. Request permission to join the defense effort. Ambassador Ha's voice came back quickly. Permission granted, Captain. Show them what humans can do. Jun opened a channel to the Concordat command. Admiral, the *Defiance* stands ready to assist. There was a pause before Admiral Talek responded. If you insist on suicide, I won't stop you, but stay out of the way of real warships. Jun closed the channel and looked at his crew. Their faces showed determination and pride. Prepare for launch, he ordered. Today we show the galaxy what this ship can really do. The *Defiance* launched from the Concordat station alongside the massive alien battlecruisers. From the bridge, Captain Jun Lee watched as the huge warships moved into formation. Their size made his ship look like a toy in comparison. All systems ready, Captain. Engineer Day reported from his station. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel, checking every part of the ship. Weapons, Jun asked. Conventional weapons at full power, Jin replied from the tactical station. Though we won't be using those much today. Jun nodded. Sue, status of the KD field. Science officer Sue looked up from her special console. Quantum displacement field is charged and ready. All tests show green. Good. Jun took a deep breath. Communications, patch me through to the Concordat fleet. A moment later, Admiral Talek's face appeared on the screen. The insect-like alien looked surprised to see the humans. Captain Lee, he said, I did not expect you to actually join us. Where is your ambassador? Safe on the station, Admiral. We are a warship, not a diplomatic vessel. Admiral Talek made a clicking sound that might have been laughter. Very well. Stay at the back of our formation. Try not to get hit. We'll find our own position, Admiral, Jun replied calmly. We have a plan. A plan. The alien's compound eyes seemed to flash. This is not a game, human. The Vraxians have destroyed entire worlds. We are aware of the threat, Jun said. Trust that we know what we're doing. Before the Admiral could argue further, alarms sounded throughout both ships. Jin's voice cut through the noise. Vraxian fleet is accelerating. They'll reach the first defense line in 2 minutes. Jun ended the call with the Admiral. All crew to battle stations, he ordered. Dai, take us around the main fleet. I want us positioned between the Vraxians and the station. Captain, Jin said with concern. That will put us directly in their path. Exactly. Jun's face was set with determination. That's where we need to be. The *Defiance* moved swiftly, its small size allowing it to maneuver faster than the larger ships. On the main screen, the Vraxian fleet came into view. Their black ships moved in perfect formation, like predators stalking prey. They're opening fire on the Concordat ships, Jin reported. The space ahead lit up with energy beams as the Vraxian vessels attacked. The Concordat ships returned fire, and the void between the fleets filled with deadly light. Even from a distance, they could see the first line of Concordat ships taking heavy damage. They're targeting the manufacturing facilities, Jin noted as he studied the Vraxian attack pattern. They want to cripple the Concordat's ability to build more ships. As expected, Jun said, move us into position, Dai, right between the Vraxians and their target. The *Defiance* shot forward, passing between the larger Concordat vessels. Some of the alien captains sent angry messages, telling the humans to get out of the way. Jun ignored them all. Captain, Sue said quietly, the KD field has never been tested against weapons this powerful. The simulations were promising, but it will work, Jun interrupted. It has to. As they neared the front of the battle, the communication system crackled. Admiral Talek's voice came through, filled with alarm. Human vessel, withdraw immediately. You cannot withstand direct Vraxian fire. Jun exchanged glances with his crew. This was the moment they had prepared for. Ignore the order, he said. Take us straight in. The *Defiance* moved into position directly in the path of 3 Vraxian destroyers. The enemy ships were massive compared to the human vessel, their weapons already glowing as they prepared to fire. QD field ready, Captain, Sue reported, her hands steady despite the danger. Activate on my mark, Jun ordered. He watched as the Vraxian ships drew closer. He needed perfect timing. 3, 2, 1, mark. Sue pressed her palm against the activation panel. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then a subtle blue glow surrounded the Defiance asterisk, rippling like water in a pond. The lead Vraxian destroyer fired. A massive energy beam shot toward the small human ship. Everyone on the bridge held their breath. The beam struck the blue field surrounding the Defiance asterisk, and vanished. There was no explosion, no damage. The energy simply disappeared into the glowing shield. Quantum displacement successful, Sue announced, her voice tight with controlled excitement. Energy absorption at 78% efficiency. By the stars, Dai whispered, staring at his readings. It worked. It actually worked. The Vraxian ships paused their advance, clearly confused by what had happened. Then, as if angry, all 3 destroyers fired at once. Multiple energy beams struck the Defiance asterisk from different angles. Each time, the blue field rippled and absorbed the attacks. Field holding steady, Sue reported. Energy storage at 47% capacity and rising. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Talek stared at the view screen in disbelief. The tiny human ship was taking hits that would have vaporized even his largest vessels. Impossible, he muttered. Then, louder to his communications officer, "Get me Captain Lee." Jun's face appeared on his screen. The human looked calm despite being under heavy fire. "What kind of shielding is that?" the Admiral demanded, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "Not shielding, Admiral," Jun replied with a small smile. "Something better. You might want to pull your ships back now." "Pull back? Why Would?" "Trust me," Jun interrupted. "Pull your ships back immediately." Something in the human's voice convinced the Admiral. He gave the order, and the Concordat vessels began to withdraw from the front line. Meanwhile, the Vraxian commander had become frustrated by the small ship that refused to die. He ordered his entire fleet to focus their fire on the anomalous vessel. Within seconds, the Defiance asterisk was the target of over a dozen Vraxian warships. Inside the human ship, alarms began to sound. "Energy storage at 89% capacity," Sue called out. 90%, 93%. "Can we hold it all?" Jun asked, gripping the arms of his captain's chair. "I'm not sure," Sue admitted, her fingers flying over her controls. "We've never absorbed this much before." 96%, 98%. Route emergency power to the containment systems," Jun ordered. The engineer worked quickly, redirecting power from non-essential systems. Done. 99%, 100%. Maximum capacity reached. Sue announced. "We can't absorb any more, Captain." Jun hit the ship-wide comm. "All crew, brace for energy discharge." Then he opened a channel to the Concordat fleet. "All Concordat vessels, clear firing solution Alpha." "I repeat, clear firing solution Alpha." He watched as the alien ships scrambled to move away from the area in front of the Defiance asterisk. "All Concordat ships clear," Jin reported. Jun nodded to Sue. "Release the field. Full dispersal pattern." Science Officer Sue took a deep breath and pressed her palm against the activation panel again. Quantum displacement reversal in 3, 2, 1. The blue glow surrounding the Defiance asterisk pulsed once, twice, then expanded outward in a perfect sphere of energy. The wave passed through the area where the Concordat ships had been moments before, then struck the Vraxian fleet with full force. The energy that had been absorbed was now released back at the enemy, but magnified and focused. The effect was immediate and devastating. The lead Vraxian destroyers simply disappeared, vaporized by their own energy turned against them. Others spun out of control, their systems fried by the energy wave. In the span of 30 seconds, Half the Vraxian fleet was destroyed or disabled. Stunned silence filled the Defiance's bridge. Then Engineer Day let out a whoop of joy. It worked. It actually worked. Jin's tactical display showed the remaining Vraxian ships in disarray. They're retreating. The surviving ships are jumping to light speed. Jun allowed himself a small smile. Sue, status of the KD field. She checked her readings. Completely discharged. We'll need at least 6 hours to recharge. That's fine, Jun said. I don't think we'll need it again today. The communication system came to life. Admiral Talik's face appeared on screen. For once, the alien leader seemed at a loss for words. Captain Lee, he finally said. That was... He stopped, then started again. What did you just do? We absorbed their energy weapons and returned it to them, Jun explained simply. That's what the quantum displacement field does. I have never seen anything like it in all my years of warfare, the Admiral admitted. You destroyed half their fleet in seconds and saved your manufacturing facilities, Jun pointed out. The same facilities you thought we couldn't protect. Admiral Talik was quiet for a moment. Then he bowed his head slightly, a gesture of respect. It seems we have underestimated Earth, he said. And you, Captain Lee. A common mistake, Jun replied. One the Vraxians just paid for dearly. As the Defiance returned to the Concordat station, messages poured in from the alien ships. No longer were they mocking the small human vessel. Now they were asking questions, offering congratulations, requesting details about the amazing technology they had witnessed. The mockery had ended. The revelation had begun. The Defiance docked at the Concordat station amid a completely different atmosphere than when it had departed. Where once alien crews had laughed at the small human vessel, now they gathered to watch it return. Whispers spread through the docking bay as Captain Jun Lee and his team stepped off their ship. There they are, an alien said in a hushed tone. The humans who destroyed half the Vraxian fleet. Jun kept his face neutral, but he noticed his crew walking a bit taller. Engineer Da couldn't hide his proud smile. Even the usually serious Sue had a gleam in her eyes. Admiral Talik waited for them at the end of the docking ramp. The tall insect-like alien's posture was different now, no longer looking down at the humans, but regarding them as equals. Captain Lee, the Admiral said, his voice carrying through the large space. The Concordat owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude. We were just doing our part to defend the station, Jun replied modestly. Your part saved countless lives, and our most important shipyard, the Admiral said. The Concordat Council requests your presence immediately. They wish to hear about this. Quantum displacement technology. Jun glanced at Sue, who gave a slight nod. We would be honored to meet with the Council, he said. But first, my crew needs rest, and the Defiance needs to recharge. Of course. Admiral Talik agreed quickly. The meeting will be held in 6 hours. Will that be sufficient? Jun nodded. That will be fine. As they walked through the station corridors, the difference in how they were treated was striking. Aliens who had ignored them days before now moved aside respectfully. Some even offered small bows or other gestures of respect from their cultures. This is weird, Jin whispered to Da. Yesterday they wouldn't even look at us. Amazing what destroying a few enemy ships can do for your reputation, Day replied with a small laugh. Ambassador Hayun met them at their quarters. Her face showed relief and pride. Well done, Captain, she said. News of what the Defiance did has spread throughout the station, throughout the entire Concordat network, in fact. We just followed the plan, Jun said. The plan worked perfectly, he replied. But now comes the hard part. Politics. Jun sighed. He was a ship captain, not a diplomat. What should we expect from this council meeting? They'll want to know everything about the KD technology, I said. How it works, how to build it, how to put it on their own ships. Information we can't give them, Sue pointed out. At least, not all of it. I nodded. Exactly. We need to be careful about what we share. Earth sent us here to form an alliance, not to give away our greatest technological advantage. So what do we tell them? Jin asked. We tell them enough to keep them interested, he said with a small smile, but not enough for them to build their own KD field without us. 6 hours later, the human team entered the Grand Council chamber. Unlike the meeting room where they had first been mocked, this was the true seat of Concordat power. The chamber was circular, with raised seats for representatives of 30 different alien races. At the center was a round platform where speakers stood. Captain Jun, Ambassador Ha, and Science Officer Su took their places on the platform. Engineer Da and Tactical Officer Jin sat nearby as technical advisors. The chamber fell silent as the Concordat High Speaker, a tall, willowy alien with silver skin, rose from his seat. Captain Jun Lee of Earth, the High Speaker announced in a melodious voice, "You and your vessel have achieved something remarkable. The recordings of your ship absorbing and redirecting Vraxian energy weapons have been viewed by all members of the Concordat. We are impressed." Jun bowed his head in acknowledgement. "Thank you, High Speaker. Earth is honored to help defend the Concordat. We wish to understand this technology," the High Speaker continued. "This quantum displacement field. Our scientists say what you did should be impossible." Jun gestured to Su, who stepped forward. Despite the hundreds of alien eyes on her, the small scientist appeared calm. "High Speaker, Honored Council," she began. "The quantum displacement field is based on principles that Earth scientists discovered 25 years ago. In simple terms, it creates a field that can catch energy weapons, store their power, and then release that power in a controlled manner." A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms raised a hand. "But the energy required to create such a field would be enormous. How does your small ship generate enough power?" Su smiled slightly. "That's where Earth's innovation lies. We don't generate the power beforehand. The field is actually powered by the very weapons fired at it. The more they shoot at us, the stronger our field becomes." Murmurs spread through the chamber. An alien that looked like a collection of floating gas bubbles spoke next. "If this technology could be adapted to our larger ships, it could change the balance of power against the Vraxians." Ambassador had finished for him. "Yes, that is precisely why Earth wishes to join the Concordat as a full member. We bring this technology as our contribution." The aliens exchanged glances. Until now, humans had been seen as newcomers with little to offer. Suddenly, they had the most valuable weapon in the galaxy. "What does Earth want in exchange for sharing this technology?" asked a reptilian alien with scales that shimmered like rainbows. Ambassador has stepped forward. "Equal standing in the Concordat, protection for Earth and our colonies, and a leadership role in the war against the Vraxians." More murmurs, some sounding less pleased. The High Speaker raised a long-fingered hand for silence. "These are significant requests," he said. "Earth is still very new to interstellar travel. And yet we have developed technology that none of your races discovered in thousands of years of space travel," he countered smoothly. "Perhaps a fresh perspective is exactly what the Concordat needs." Before the High Speaker could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the council chamber. Admiral Talek rushed in, his normally orderly movements now hurried. "High Speaker, Council members," he called out. "Vraxian ships have been detected entering the system, a much larger fleet than before. Our sensors count at least 50 warships." The chamber erupted in panic. Some council members rose from their seats, while others shouted questions or demands. The High Speaker turned to Jun. "Captain Lee, can your ship's weapon be used again?" Jun looked at Su, who shook her head slightly. "The KD field needs more time to fully recharge," he admitted. "We can activate it at partial capacity, but it won't be as effective as before." "How much time do we have, Admiral?" the High Speaker asked Talek. 2 hours at most before they reached the station," the Admiral replied grimly. "That's not enough time." Sue said quietly to June. We need at least 4 more hours for a full charge. June thought quickly. The station would be destroyed if they couldn't stop the Vraxian fleet. But the Defiance couldn't use its main weapon yet. They needed another plan. High Speaker, June said, his voice cutting through the chaos in the chamber. I have a suggestion. The room quieted as all eyes turned to the human captain. The Vraxians are coming because of what happened earlier, June continued. They want revenge for their destroyed ships, and they want to capture or destroy the technology that did it. Your point, Captain, the High Speaker asked. Let's give them what they want, or at least make them think we are. June turned to Admiral Talek. Admiral, if we positioned the Defiance away from the station, the Vraxians would follow it, wouldn't they? Admiral Talek's compound eyes seemed to narrow in thought. Yes, their tactical patterns suggest they would prioritize destroying the greatest threat, which is now your ship. Then that's what we'll do, June said. We'll lead them away from the station, buy time for your fleet to organize a proper defense, and maybe even get enough time for our KD field to recharge. You would risk your ship as bait? The High Speaker asked, sounding surprised. The Defiance is fast, June replied. We can stay ahead of them long enough. And even with a partially charged KD field, we can absorb some of their initial attacks. Ambassador Hal looked concerned. Captain, this is not what Earth sent us to do. Earth sent us to form an alliance, June reminded her. What better way to prove our worth as allies? The High Speaker conferred briefly with other council members, then turned back to the humans. The Concordat accepts your offer, Captain Lee, and in return, we accept Earth as a full member of our alliance, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. Ambassador Hay couldn't hide her shock. High Speaker, that's the right decision. The High Speaker finished for her. Now go, Captain. Save this station, and prove that our new alliance is a wise one. June nodded and gestured to his crew. As they hurried from the council chamber, he opened his comlink to the Defiance. Prepare the ship for immediate departure, he ordered. We're going hunting. The Defiance raced through space, its engines pushing to maximum speed. Behind it, the massive Vraxian fleet followed like hungry predators chasing prey. Captain Jun Lee sat in his command chair, watching the tactical display with careful eyes. Distance to the enemy fleet, he asked. Jin checked his screens. Lead Vraxian ships are 18 minutes behind us and gaining slowly. They're pushing their engines hard. Good, Jun said. Keep them interested, but don't let them get too close. The plan was working so far. The moment the Defiance had left the Concordat station and shown up on sensors, the Vraxian fleet had changed course to follow. Just as June had predicted, they wanted the human ship more than they wanted the station. How's our special package? June asked Engineer Da. Day looked up from his console with a worried expression. Ready, but I still think this is crazy, Captain. Noted, June replied with a small smile. But sometimes crazy is all we have. What the Vraxians didn't know was that the Defiance wasn't just running away. It was leading them to a specific place, a small asteroid field at the edge of the star system. And it was carrying something special. QD field status, Joan asked Science Officer Sue. 62% charge, she reported. Not enough for a full attack, but enough for what we need. June nodded. Time to the asteroid field. 23 minutes at current speed, Jin replied. June did some quick math in his head. The Vraxians would be right behind them when they reached the field. Perfect. All crew, prepare for combat maneuvers, he announced over the ship's comm system. This will get rough. On the bridge, his officers exchanged nervous glances. They knew the plan was risky. If it failed, the Defiance and its crew would be destroyed. But if it worked... Message from the Concordat fleet, Jin reported. Admiral Talek says their ships are in position, and waiting for our signal. Good, Jun said. Tell them to be ready. This will happen fast. The minutes ticked by as the Defiance raced toward the asteroid field. The Vraxian ships continued their pursuit, their weapon systems glowing as they prepared to fire the moment they were in range. Entering the asteroid field in 1 minute, Day announced. Jun took a deep breath. Sue, prepare the KD field. Jin, ready our special package for deployment. Day, I need all power to engines until my mark. His crew worked quickly, each focused on their tasks. The first asteroids appeared on the screen, small rocks floating in the darkness of space. Now, Da, cut engines to 20% and bring us around that large asteroid, Jun ordered. The Defiance slowed suddenly and changed direction, swinging around a house-sized rock. The sudden maneuver caught the Vraxians by surprise. Their larger ships couldn't turn as quickly, and several had to fire their weapons to destroy asteroids in their path. They're splitting up to follow us through the field, Jin reported, just like we wanted. Jun watched the tactical display. The Vraxian fleet was spreading out, each ship finding its own path through the asteroid field. Their perfect formation was breaking apart, bringing us around to the center point, Daz said as he guided the ship through a series of tight turns. Vraxian ships are firing, Jin called out as energy beams shot past the Defiance. Evasive maneuvers, Jun ordered calmly. Keep us moving. The Defiance twisted and turned through the asteroid field, taking advantage of its smaller size. The Vraxian ships were larger and less nimble, but they were also more powerful. If even one of their main weapons hit the human ship directly, it would be in trouble. We're approaching the target zone, Day reported. Jun nodded, slow to minimum speed. Jin, prepare to deploy our package on my mark. The Defiance slowed to a near stop in a small clear area within the asteroid field. The pursuing Vraxian ships began to close in from multiple directions. They think they have us trapped, Jin said with a grim smile. Let them think it, Jun replied. He opened a channel to the Concordat fleet. Admiral Telek, we are in position. Begin your approach. Understood, Captain Lee, came the reply. Concordat fleet moving in now. Jun checked the tactical display one last time. The Vraxian ships were surrounding them, moving in for the kill. It was time. Deploy the package, he ordered. Jin pressed a sequence of controls. From the bottom of the Defiance a small object was released into space. It looked like nothing special, just a metal box about the size of a small car. Package deployed, Jin confirmed. Sue, activate the KD field at 30% power, focused on the package, Jun ordered. Sue worked her controls with quick, precise movements. Field active and focused. The blue glow of the KD field appeared, but instead of surrounding the Defiance as before, it surrounded the small metal box floating in space. All crew, secure for emergency jump, Jun called out. Da, on my mark, full power to engines, and get us out of here. The Vraxian ships moved closer, their weapons charging for a final attack. They didn't seem to notice or care about the small object the humans had left behind. Now, Da, Jun ordered. The Defiance shot forward, its engines flaring bright blue as it raced away from the center of the asteroid field. Several Vraxian ships fired, but their shots went wide as the human vessel disappeared among the asteroids. Behind them, the small metal box floated innocently in space. Inside it was a simple but deadly payload. 30 antimatter charges, surrounded by the focused KD field. The field was doing two things: hiding the true nature of the box from sensors and containing the massive explosion that was about to happen. We're clear of the blast zone, Day reported. 5 seconds to detonation. Jun opened a channel to all nearby Concordat ships. All ships, brace for shockwave. In the center of the asteroid field, the small box began to glow brightly. The KD field surrounding it pulsed once, twice. Then space itself seemed to tear open. The antimatter in the charges met normal matter and annihilated in a blast that outshone the system's sun for a brief moment. But unlike a normal antimatter explosion, this one was contained and focused by the Ki-D field. Instead of expanding outward equally in all directions, the energy was channeled in a precise pattern, directly at the surrounding Vraxian ships. On the Defiance the crew watched their sensors as the explosion engulfed the center of the Vraxian fleet. Ship after ship disappeared from the tactical display as the energy wave tore through them. Direct hit on 27 Vraxian vessels, Jin reported, his voice filled with awe. Another 15 severely damaged. At that moment, the Concordat fleet arrived, surrounding the remaining Vraxian ships. Admiral Talek's voice came through the comm system. Vraxian fleet, this is Admiral Talek of the Galactic Concordat. Your ships are destroyed or surrounded. Surrender or be destroyed. There was a long pause. Then, one by one, the surviving Vraxian vessels powered down their weapons. They're surrendering, Jin said, sounding surprised. Jun allowed himself a small smile. The Vraxians may be aggressive, but they're not stupid. They know when they're beaten. Admiral Talek's voice came through again. Captain Lee, the Concordat owes you and your crew a great debt. Today, you have not only saved our station twice, but you have given us the first major victory against the Vraxians in 10 years. We were happy to help, Admiral, Jun replied. That's what allies do. 3 days later, Captain Jun Lee stood in the Grand Chamber of the Concordat Council once more. This time, he was not there to be judged or questioned. He was there to be honored. The High Speaker stood before him, holding a gleaming medal made from a rare crystal. Captain Jun Lee of Earth, for your courage and ingenuity in the face of overwhelming enemy forces, the Concordat presents you with the Star of Valor, our highest military honor. Jun bowed his head as the medal was placed around his neck. Behind him stood his crew, Dae, Su, Jin, and Ambassador, each receiving their own medals. The human ship Defiance has lived up to its name, the High Speaker continued, addressing the packed chamber. It defied our expectations. It defied the Vraxian threat, and it has shown us that true strength does not always come in the largest package. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. The same aliens who had laughed at the small human ship now stood in respect. Earth is now a full member of the Concordat, the High Speaker announced, and Captain Lee will lead a new task force dedicated to adapting the quantum displacement technology to our combined fleet. Jun stepped forward to address the council. Thank you for this honor. Earth is proud to stand with the Concordat. Together, we will show the Vraxians and anyone else who threatens peace in this galaxy that size isn't everything. Innovation, cooperation, and courage matter more than brute force. As applause filled the chamber, Jun looked at his crew. They had come here as representatives of a species considered weak and primitive. They were leaving as heroes and equals. The ship that was once mocked had not only erased an enemy fleet, it had changed the course of a galactic war.